Welcome to CKLA Unit 3, Lesson 6. Today we will practice our new spelling words. We will read words with the different spellings for the O sound. Remember when it's in like the little slashes like that? We're talking about the sound and not the letters, and that is the O sound. And we will ask and answer questions about key details in the story, Miss Baker. Okay, we have a new list of spelling words this week. These words you're going to study at home. Now let's practice these words together. The spelling words this week have words with the tricky C and the tricky G. So remember that C, normally it says K, but the tricky spelling, it's going to say S. And the tricky G, instead of saying G, it's going to say J. Okay, now let's look at our spelling words for the week. Our first word is the word carpet. Now, carpet is the normal sound of this letter C. The letter C usually says K. So in carpet, the C is before the A. And we're going to find that when it says that tricky spelling, the S, or it says that tricky sound, that it normally comes or is followed by E, I, or Y. So the fact that carpet is CA, it kind of helps you to know that it says K instead of S. So the first word is carpet. So let's put our fingers in the air and let's write the word carpet. C-A-R-P-E-T. Now let's touch spell the word carpet. K-R-P-E-T. And remember that AR, that's a vowel controlled R. That AR says R. Now let's look at our column for the soft C, which is the S sound. The first word that we have is face. Now notice that in face and space, those soft C's are at the end of the word. So that's CE. That CE also tells you, okay, if it has an E, I, or Y behind it, it's going to make that soft C sound. Okay, so look at the word face. Let's spell the word face. A. S. Now you don't hear the E because that CE together says S. So now let's put our finger in the air and let's write the word face. F-A-C-E. Okay, now let's move to the word space. Same rule. So you've got that CE at the end. So that CE together is going to say S, that tricky spelling for our C. So let's touch spell the word space. S-A-S. Now let's put our hand in the air, our finger, and we're going to write the word in the air. Write space. S-P-A-C-E. Okay, now let's look at the next word. This word, your C is followed by the E, so it's going to say S. It's that soft C. This word is cell. Now, the smallest living thing in your body is a cell. Your body's made up of cells. This is not like the word sell, like you're going to sell something. This is like the parts of the body, the cells that make up your body. So let's touch spell cell. S-E-L. Now let's write the word cell. C-E-L-L. Now look at the word center. Center, here your C is followed by your E. So E-I and Y, it's going to make that S sound. Okay, say this word center. Let's touch spell it. S-E-N-T-E-R. Now let's put our finger in the air and let's write center. C-E-N-T-E-R. And the last one of our soft C's is chance. Now the first C, that's a blend, ch. But our last C in the word chance is going to make that soft C sound s because it's followed by the E. So this word is chance. So let's touch spell it. Ch-A-N-C-E. Chance. Now let's put our finger in the air and write the word chance. C-H-A-N-C-E. Chance. Our letter G. Now letter G normally says G, but the tricky sound for the G is J. So it's the same rule pretty much. If the G is followed by an E, I, or Y, it's going to say J. So look at the first word, gray. What is G followed by? It's followed by an R, right? So that's going to tell us it's going to make that normal sound G, because it's not followed by an E, I, or Y. Okay, let's touch spell the word gray. G-R-A. Okay, now let's write the word gray. Let's put our finger in the air and write the word gray. G-R-A-Y. Okay, now let's look at our next column. Now, if you notice that each one of these G's in these words are either followed by an E or an I. And the rule is, generally, if it's followed by an E, I, or Y, then it is a tricky G. It's going to say that J sound instead of G. So the first word is page. So let's touch spell page. A-J. And you notice that's a long A because that magic E makes it say its name. Let's put our finger in the air and write the word page. P-A-G-E. Now, do you hear the E in page? No, you don't. Its only job is the magic E to make the A say its name. The next word is digit. Digit. Now let's touch spell the word digit. D-I-J-I-T. Digit. Now let's write it. Put your finger in the air. D-I-G-I-T. Now let's look at our last tricky G sound. This word is germ. Let's touch spell it. J-er-m. Because that ER goes together. It's a vowel controlled R. Let's put our finger in the air and write it. G-E-R-M. Germ. Our last word is a tricky word. This word is R. Are you going to the movies Saturday night? R is a question word. R is a verb. R does not look the way it is spelled. Okay, so that's why it's a tricky word. So the word is R. Let's put our finger in the air and let's write the word R. A-R-E. Now be sure that you're practicing these words at home because we'll have a spelling test on Friday over these soft C and soft G words. Now you can pause the video and find 6.1 in your packet. It is page 29. Now what you're going to do on page 29, you're going to read. There's several of the words that have the soft G and the soft C in them. But you're going to read these sentences to yourself. And you're going to write yes if it can happen and no if it cannot happen. So when you read them, be sure that you sound each word out. Take your time on it. Make sure that it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense and it couldn't happen, you're going to write the word no. Also, you need to find 6.3 in your packet as well. That's your parent letter for your spelling words. So be sure and give your parents that spelling list that's page 33. You can also hang it on your refrigerator. That way you can study your words through the week. Okay, so go ahead right now and work on page 29 and 30. And then on number 17 and 18 on page 30, you're going to get to write your own question, a yes or no question. So you may want to make one kind of funny that couldn't happen. That would be a no. And then maybe find one that could happen. Okay, good luck. You can pause the video and come back when you are finished with 6.1, page 29 and page 30. Now in Unit 2 and 3, we focused on vowel sounds. So today we're going to review the basic code for the ah sound. Now what sound would you make if you saw this spelling? What's the most used sound? It's ah, right? Let's think of some words with this ah sound. Mop, sock, rocket, hot, doctor, ostrich, stop. The new vowel sound for today is the O sound, as in open. Let's say O, O. Now you've already learned one spelling for this sound. Do you remember what it was? O consonant E. Remember that magic E that made the O say its name. So like in this word, home, that O doesn't say ah, it says O because of that magic E. Let's review some of these words. Boat, bone, stone. Those sneaky E's, those magic E's, make the O say its name. Now there's several other ways to write the O sound, just like when we did the A sound last week. Over the next few days, you're going to learn several additional spellings for the sound. Now let's sort some words that have different O spellings. Okay, now we're going to sort some of our different ways to make the O sound. Now you have the O consonant E with the magic E. O, that's that way that sometimes, like the O on its own will say O in different situations. The OE makes the O sound, and the OA makes the O sound. And then we'll find some odd ducks, those that you don't see very often, but you need to know that in this situation, O will say its name. Okay, so let's look at our different ways to make the O sound. You have the O consonant E, which is the magic E. And our two examples are tote and stone. They're going to end in an E, so that E is that magic E that tells you, okay, that vowel has got to say its name. You don't actually hear the E. Now you've got the next way. O alone sometimes can say O. So O usually says ah in a word, but here, this is one of those special circumstances where O is going to say its name. It's going to have the long vowel, like in no and hotel. Now, OE also says O. And if you notice in the word toe and doe, it's at the end of the word. A doe is a female deer, if you didn't know what that meant. OA is a vowel combination that is in the middle of the word. So you notice you've got G, O, T. You've got consonant, vowel sound, and then consonant. Now float, you've got that digraph, full, O, T. So your OA, two vowels go walking, first one does the talking. You may have heard that before. That happens occasionally, but we what may kind of use that as a reminder to help us to know that it says O. Your odd ducks are OW. Now OW at the end of the word also will say O. So like in snow, crow. Okay, now we're going to be looking at a story that's titled Miss Baker. Today we're going to read our next set in our stories that we've been talking about with the spelling bee. Miss Baker is going to help Gail excel at spelling in today's story. Now Gail's second grade teacher, Miss Baker, helped her to become a good reader. Now before we read, let's kind of review some of these sounds that we talked about last week. Your AY, it says A. All of these sounds say A. AI, it comes in the middle of the word. It also says A. Then you have your A consonant E, which makes the vowel say its name. It's your sneaky E. And then you have the A alone that sometimes, it's not going to say ah. Sometimes it will say that long sound A. Now, you've also got the A sound in multiple syllable words. Multiple syllable words, you break the word up, break it apart, it makes it easier to sound out. So we're going to review some of these words real quick before we start reading, because these are going to be words that you're going to see in the passage. Okay, look under your AY column, your A. Play, stay. Now look at your AI column. So it's going to say A where there's AI. Now the first one is a multiple syllable word. Explaining. Explaining. Pain, train. Now look at your A consonant E. Flame, make. And then you have your A alone that says A. Baker. Now you see it's capitalized, so it's someone's name. Now let's look at our multiple syllable word column. I want you to read these words with me. Understand. English. Spanish. Latin. Now the words English, Spanish, and Latin are all languages, and that's why they're capitalized. Myself. Explaining. Baker. And remember, that's her teacher's name, so that's why it's capitalized. Now, some words that you may need to know before you start reading. The word champ, it's short for champion. This is Michael Phelps. He was a swimming champion. It's like the winner. It's someone that prevails over others. Now, before we read, I want you to make a prediction about what you think Miss Baker did to help Gail become such a good speller. So take a minute and guess, make a prediction in your head, tell someone at home, make a prediction about what Miss Baker is going to do to make Gail such a good speller so she can win the spelling bee. Okay, now we're going to read the story carefully to find out if our corrections are, or our predictions are correct. So when you read today, you may partner read, you may read to someone at home, but you're going to read for fluency and accuracy. Now, you can go ahead and pause the video, and you're going to read the story that's in your packet, page 35 and 36, Miss Baker. Now, make sure that you read it fluently so you can pronounce your words, you know what they mean, you know what you can say them correctly. Make sure that you are reading for fluency. You're reading so you can comprehend the passage. Now, when you finish, we've got some discussion questions, so you can pause it right here and pick up whenever you're finished. Remember these discussion questions that we go through. If you don't know the answer, then you definitely need to go back and reread the passage fluently again to make sure that you're comprehending it. Okay, so pause the video and read the story now. Okay, the first question is, how did Miss Baker help Gail become a good speller? So what did she do to help her become such a great speller? Miss Baker made lots of these spelling trees similar to what we make, didn't she? She found these similar sounds and she kind of broke it down to where Gail could become a better reader and know how to spell these words just based on their sound. How were her spelling trees organized? Now remember, if you don't know the answer, go back and reread it so you can answer it. So how is the spelling tree organized? It's organized by sounds and spellings. How did the spelling tree help the kids in Miss Baker's class? Those spelling trees helped them to see those patterns, didn't they? They kind of broke it down where you could see those spelling patterns and know them a little better. What did Gail do to become a better speller? Gail read a lot, didn't she? She read a lot of books about the English language. So she knew a lot of things about where these words came from, and she also knew the patterns in our English language, which helped her to become a better speller. Okay, now you're going to pause the video and you're going to find the questions, the comprehension questions on page 37 and 38, which it says 6.5 at the top. Now you're going to use 6.4, which is the story, to help you answer the questions on page 37 and 38. Now, if you notice at the back, you're going to fill in your own spelling tree. So take a minute now and pause the video, and you can work on the story Miss Baker and the comprehension questions that go along with it. Okay, before we end our lesson today, I need you to find page 31, which is titled 6.2, and page 31 and page 32. You're going to be looking for the vowel sound in each word. So when you look at the first one on page 31, you've got two words. You've got the word train and you've got the word track. Now you're going to circle the vowel sounds in each one of your words, just like they did. And then you're going to write yes if the sound is the same and no if the sound is different. So look at the word train. It says A, right? So your vowel sound is the long A. And the word track is the short A. It says ah. So do these make the same sound? They don't. So let's look at the next one. Let's go ahead and do the next one together before you finish it. Okay, the first word, what are you going to circle? What's your vowel? Your vowel is A, right? And it says ah. So this word is cap. Now look at the next one. You've got A, but you need to horseshoe it and make it the sneaky E, that magic E. So what does that magic E make the A say? Makes it say its name, right? So it says A. So this word is cape. So in the word cap, cape, A. Do they make the same sound? No, they don't make the same sound. So we're going to write no on the line. Okay, you're going to complete this with the A and the sounds that we have learned so far. So you're going to complete page 31 and 32 out of your packet. Okay, that's the end of our lesson, so let's go back over our learning targets. We practiced our new spelling words, our soft C's and soft G's. We looked at our new sound, our O sound, so the different ways to make the O sound. And we asked and answered questions using key details in that story, Miss Baker. All right, have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow with our skills lesson 7.